This is TVC News at 1, and let's turn attention to business. Former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Dr. Sani Sulamido, has called for a proper audit of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited to review the actual country's daily oil production, export, and crude revenue. The economist has also advised President Bola Tinubu against occupying the office of the Minister for Petroleum Resources, saying it will make it difficult for the country to hold the NNPC Limited accountable. Mr. Lamido made this known while delivering his remarks at the Bank Directors Summit organized by the Bank Directors Association of Nigeria in Abuja. The former CBN governor queried the NNPC Limited for allegedly failing to remit enough foreign exchange into the government coffers despite the removal of few subsidies by the current administration. The former emir of Kano stressed the need to stabilize the foreign exchange market, noting that monetary policies in the last 8 years had led to rising inflation and an economic downturn in the country. And according to X&P Global quoting market sources and tanker tracking data, Dangote Refinery has received 950,000 barrels of cargo of Agbami crude grade from Shell International Trading and Shipping Company Limited. This indicates that fuel production at the $19 billion facility is finally set to start after years of delays. Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, which owns a 20% stake in the refinery, recently agreed to supply 6 million barrels of crude oil as feedstock to the refinery in December. The maiden 950,000 barrels represents the first phase of the 6 million barrels of crude oil to be supplied to the refinery. And our players in the Nigerian automotive industry will soon get support from the government for their operations. The country's automotive development authorities made this known, saying efforts are underway to make the funding opportunity a reality. Lara Folanyo reports.
Car importation has also not helped matters, as most Nigerians prefer imported vehicles. This has in turn resulted in the local assemblers producing below installed capacity. The automotive development authorities are worried about the sector situation and are now working towards putting a fund in place for players to access for indigenous production, while striving to boost market access for the locally produced vehicles.
To boost patronage of Nigeria-made vehicle, we need investors. We need people to have that confidence and faith in whatever we put together.
The fund is an offshoot of the National Automotive Industry Development Plan, aimed at enhancing local production. The idea is not to put an end to the country's existing auto credit scheme, which is also a part of the Auto Development Plan, but to see how more low-cost funding can be made available to operators.
There must be rule, there must be law, there must be policy. Thankfully, we have NAIDP policy, that plan. It's a plan, it's a document. Until we start implementing it, it remains documents. When we start putting them into action, then it becomes it's no longer the document we are keeping.
The automotive development authorities are positive that when the auto development plan becomes an act of parliament, it will boost investor confidence in the sector. They also feel that the plan will help drive local content in auto production towards getting the country better prepared for demands of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement's implementation. The automotive development authorities also urge that plans are ongoing to put in place needed infrastructure for electric cars. Lara Folanyo, TVC News, Abuja.
And in the meantime, Maritime Administration and Safety Agency and the Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria have emphasized the importance of enrolling workers on the contributory pension scheme. This issue took center stage during the day of the dock worker commemoration in Lagos. TVC News correspondent Ifunanya has more.
The commemoration by the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency offered a platform to recognize the significant contributions of Nigerian dock workers to the nation's economy. It shed light on the challenges they face daily, their efforts to enhance port efficiency, and outlined ways to improve workers' health and well-being.
A room must be opened for the conditions of service that will have to provide a contributory pension scheme where the dock workers will contribute and the stakeholders, ship owners, and those people who work for them, including the government agencies like ours.
The contributions of the dock labor, otherwise called as the dock workers, in the Nigerian seaports, which dates back to colonial days. Like I will always say, there's no port without dock workers and port workers, and there is no ship without seafarers.
While we are celebrating dockers today, we should equally tell the government that the port access road, the green law, has effect on various aspects of maritime industry activity with the wide-ranging negative impact on both vehicular and cargo human movement within and outside ports. On this note, we wish to call on the relevant authority to expedite action in rehabilitating and finding lasting solutions to the bad state of port access road in all our port formations.
A crucial point raised was the insistence on oil and gas terminal operators allowing only approved steel doors on their installations. This measure aims to ensure compliance with relevant international guidelines and conventions.
We encourage the stakeholders to build what we call conditions of service for these dock workers. The conditions of service must come with remunerations, must come with entitlement, must come with pensions and gratuity when they leave their services.
The focus of the dock workers' commemoration is to raise awareness about port working conditions and underscore the importance of collective bargaining rights. Ifunanya Eze, TVC News, Lagos.
And our crude oil benchmarks were headed for a 7th straight week decline on worries over a global supplies surplus and weak Chinese demand, although prices recovered ground today after Saudi Arabia and Russia called for more OPEC Plus members to join output cuts. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude rose to sell at $70.97 per barrel with an upsurge of 2.35%. Brent crude futures also experienced an uptick of 2.39%, selling at $75.82 per barrel. And Bonelite recorded an upward price reveal of 0.08%, selling at $75.09 per barrel. And for the OPEC basket, crude oil dealers are offering $78.31 per barrel with a downward price margin of 1.73%.